All right, this is part 2 of how to graph piecewise functions. The other video was just getting too long, so I'm going to do 2 more examples of graphing piecewise functions. Just so you guys are aware, when you are doing your homework in my math lab, you're going to have multiple choice on these graphs. And you might be able to just tell by looking at the graph and looking at the equations and where it's breaking, what that graph looks like. I highly, highly, highly encourage you guys to do this process of making the tables, because you're going to have to do one on your test without multiple choice. You're going to have to graph it from scratch by hand. So even if you can tell on my math lab what the graph is by the multiple choice, just get some practice on doing this process, because you're going to have to do it on your test. Okay, so example 4, we are still graphing, find the domain range, the intercepts, and saying whether it's continuous or not. So you have your equation here. When x is between the bounds of -2 to 1, it equals 6 when x equals 1, and it equals negative, or you'll use the equation of -x plus 2 if x is greater than 1. So this time I have 3 equations, so I need 3 tables. So we have y is x plus 3. We have y is 6. And we have when y equals -x plus 2. And this is part A, graphing. Okay, on this, they all share 1. This is where it is breaking and it's jumping from the first one to the second to the third. So all of these here need that common point of 1. This middle one here is going to get your closed circle, because that's when x equals 1. It does not equal 1 in the first one, it's less than 1. And it does not equal 1 in the third one, it's greater than 1. So these two need open circles. Now on this first one, this is the only one that we've had so far that actually has beginning and ending bounds. So we know it ends at 1, but it begins at -2. So I need this -2 in here. Now, if you want to put points in the middle and put 0 and -1, that's fine. But you have to know where this graph starts and where it ends. And notice here, it's -2 is less than or equal to x. So this one will have a closed circle at -2 because it's or equals to. So plug in your values. You've got 1 plus 3 gives me 4. And -2 plus 3 gives me 1. So I've got -2, 1 with a closed circle. And 1, 4 with an open circle. Here's my line. This one here, it doesn't have a group of numbers, right? It's just simply when x equals 1, period. That's the only one. So that's the only point I get here. And when x is 1, it doesn't matter really what this is. Y is simply 6. So we've got 1, 6, which is a little off my graph again. And then for this one, let's plug in -1. We got 1. When I plug in 1, I get -1 plus 2, which is 1. And then I need another point And this one is just simply when X is greater than 1. So pick something that's greater than 1. I'm going to pick 2, but you can pick anything. And get your ordered pair. So -2 plus 2 is 0. So we have 1, 1 with an open circle. And then 2, 0 right here. And so here's our graph. So part B, I need my domain and I need my range. Domain is my X. So X goes from left to right. And I guess I kind of lied to you guys, didn't I? In the previous video, I said your domain is always going to be -infinity to infinity. But if this has bounds, it's not going to be -infinity to infinity. My domain this time, when I go from left to right, my first X value is -2, right here, -2. And because this is a closed circle, this will be a bracket. And then it goes to where? So look right here at this break. In this portion, 1's not included. In this portion, 1's not included, but it is included in this lonely little point right here. So even though it breaks, 1 is still included. And so we're going from -2, the 1's included, to an arrow, so to infinity. And then my range goes from bottom to the top. So from the bottom, the first thing I hit is an arrow, which is -infinity. Okay, something similar like what happened right here with my X happens right here with my Y. Even though my Y value of 1 is not included in this graph, it is included in this graph right here. So it's not breaking as far as what these Y values consist of. So it goes from -infinity. My 1 is included. It's included in this graph over here. And then it keeps going up until 4, which is not included because it's an open circle. So it's going to get a parenthesis. It still includes this Y value of 6 though. So we'll do union. And then when you do one individual number or individual numbers, you need your squiggly brackets. So -infinity 4, then the union 6. See my intercepts. So my X-intercept or intercepts, where's this crossing my X-axis? Right here at 2, and so that's the point, 2, 0. My Y-intercepts, where is it crossing this Y-axis? Right here at 3. So that ordered pair is 0, 3. And then D, is this continuous? Well, no, you've got 2 breaks, 2 holes. So you definitely can't draw this without lifting up your pencil. So this is not continuous. Okay. And then our last example of graphing. And if you feel like you've got a good handle on graphing, what I suggest is you pause this video, try graphing this by yourself, then hit play and let's see how well you did. Kind of use it as a check. Okay, I really hope you paused the video and you have tried, so let's check your answer. You've got 3 equations, so that means I need 3 tables. Okay, this place where they are all breaking up and switching from one equation to the next is at 0. So these all need, this is part A, these all need 0 here. And the only place it equals 0 is in this middle one here. So this needs a closed circle. These other two will get open circles. So in this first one, it's when x is less than 0. So something less than 0 would be -1. And I'm going to go ahead and put another point on here and do -2. Doesn't hurt to do multiple, but you only need a total of 2. So when I substitute my 3 values in, 0 squared is 0. -1 in parentheses squared is +1. And -2 in parentheses squared is 4. So plot your points. And at 0, 0, we have an open circle. So then we have -1, 1 and -2, 4. This is a parabola, so this should not be a straight line, and you really can't make a straight line because they're not in a straight line. So this should be curved. And so I'm going from my first point through my other points. My second equation is just that y equals -3. So it doesn't matter what this x is, even though it tells me up here x is 0, but y is going to just simply be -3. I can tell right here without even graphing that this is discontinuous because you have at 0, 0 and then 0, -3. So they're not the same points. So 0, -3 is a closed dot. And then here you have x is greater than 0. So something greater than 0 would be 1. So plug in, you've got 2 times 0 is 0 plus 3 is 3. And 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 is 5. So I have an open circle here at 0, 3. And then it goes through the point 1, 5. So here is my graph. So hopefully you paused that and you got that right. If you did not, figure out what went wrong where. My suspicion is possibly these right here. So B and C, we need to find the domain, the range, and the intercepts. So on B, the domain, going from left to right, the first thing I hit is an arrow. My graphs break up right here, but I still have a y value at 0. So it doesn't skip 0. And the last thing is that arrow. So this is -infinity to infinity. My range goes from the bottom to the top. So the first thing I hit is just the solo point of -3. Individual points go in squiggly brackets. Then the union, it skips right here, but then I do get something, I do get the graph right here at y is 0. It is not included, so we'll put a parenthesis because of that open circle. And then it comes up here. And even though you have an open circle here at 3, you still have something included here from my x squared. So I'm not taking a break whatsoever at 3. And then once you go up past that, now you have 2 y values, and that's okay. You at least have 1, and that's what's important. So it goes from 0 to infinity because we hit these arrows. Now I need my intercepts. Where is it crossing this x-axis? It might be tempting to say it crosses right here, but remember that point is not included. It's an open circle, so it's not included. So if that wasn't there, you have nothing crossing And really, we have nothing here because it's not included. So we have none. Y-intercept, where is it crossing this y-axis? Well, it looks like it's crossing in 3 points, here, here, and here. These first two are, again, open circles, so those points don't exist in my range. So the only y-intercept I have is this lonely little point here, which is 0, -3. And then lastly, is this continuous on its domain? It is not, because you got 2 gaps, 2 holes, and you can't do this without lifting your pencil. So this is, again, not continuous. But as I said, you can tell that it's not continuous because right here, when x is 0, you get 3 different y's. And so it can't be continuous if they don't have the same point.